God, please just come into this space. I've been struggling. I really need you right now. I really need you right now.
I heard from God. I heard from God.
God is always trying to communicate with us. It's about if we're willing to communicate back, we're willing to see the signs that He's trying to give to us.
Because, I'm not competing with God.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back and/or welcome to the Spirit and Sport podcast. If this is your first time, I'm your host, Leah Edmonds, and I am so encouraged by the feedback that I got from episode 1. If you haven't watched episode 1, I highly recommend to go back and watch it. My first guest, Olivia Davies, killed it. We just had a really good conversation, and I think that it was a super valuable and great first start to the podcast. If you're new here, this podcast is not only for the supporters of Christ, but for skeptics and seekers of Christ as well. Those two things can kind of be defined as, skeptic is maybe somebody who is a non-believer. If you're an atheist, if you just are not about the faith at all, then maybe you'd consider yourself a skeptic. And then seekers of Christ, I think, can categorize anybody that is just looking. If you feel like you have these spots in your heart that need to be filled by something, I think that I would consider you a seeker of Christ, because I do believe heavily that Christ is the filler of all of those empty spots in your heart. So I'm super excited for this episode. As you guys know, we were asking all week for questions for you guys to ask me and my guest here, who I will introduce in just a second, but we are very excited to be here today. We just feel super blessed, and we feel like God has placed us here not by accident. So my first guest, without further ado, actually my second guest, without further ado, my boyfriend, my best friend, one of the most athletic people I've ever met in my life. He's going to be upset that I said one of, but I'm still waiting for him to prove to me that he's the most athletic. A very much godly person that has actually brought me to Christ, but we will talk about that a little bit later. From Wilmington, North Carolina, the Elijah Robinson. Hey, welcome.
What's up?
How do you feel?
I'm here.
You sure? I'm very happy that you're here with me. We have talked about, I knew who I wanted my second guest on this to be almost right away. I know Elijah and I have had many conversations that I feel are podcast worthy, and hopefully we'll have some of those here today.
We'll see. See where this goes.
Are you nervous at all?
A little bit.
I'm a little nervous too. I'm a little nervous from what you're gonna say.
You think I'm just gonna start talking crazy?
Yeah, Elijah has no filter.
Oh, nope,
oh no!
I don't.
I almost kicked the lamp over.
I don't really plan on having one.
Okay, yeah, in a good way though.
Yeah.
He's also, I have learned, one of the just most brutally honest people. I'm very sensitive sometimes, and he doesn't care.
I ain't never lied.
So I want to just start by, we will get into the Q&A, but tell us how you got here. Got here either on this couch or, got here to Hawaii, or, take it as you wish. And I'm going to sit like I've never heard it before. I probably haven't heard this version.
All right, I'll talk about how I got to Hawaii.
Okay.
So I was at East Carolina playing football. Probably talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, I was in season, my fifth season at East Carolina. And I kind of knew it was like time to transfer in the middle of the season. Wasn't sure where I wanted to go. Had a conversation with a teammate before the season about just like Hawaii and the coaches that are here, because he played for them at Nevada. And I was just like, wow, like those sound like some great guys, some great coaches that I would love to be around. So that was like just before the season. Then the season came. Season went okay. It wasn't exactly what I expected. Started good though. Started really good. Had a hot start, and then as I was realizing, like, I think it's time to leave, it was kind of like I was praying about it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, God, like if it's time for me to leave here, like just make it clear that I need to leave. Like I don't want to make the wrong decision, so I want your help with this decision. So yeah, I just kind of got guidance from God, and it was just very clear that it was time to leave. I was working harder than I've ever worked, playing great, and I just kind of watched my playing time go down for no reason, but at the same time, there was a reason. Uh, it was kind of just like a sign, like, all right, time to go. I was in a good headspace, great
Yeah.
headspace, and yeah, it was time to enter the portal, and yeah, so I didn't know what to expect going into the portal. Crazy place to be.
Man.
Crazy place to be. That
Yeah.
portal's scary. So yeah, I think it was like my second day in the portal. I had a bunch of schools reach out. But they were all just kind of, I don't know, they didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And so I was just praying to God, like, put the right school in my mind.
How like I forget how long this like window was of time that you
Just,
were basically in the portal and then
in the
had to
portal,
choose, I guess.
I probably had like 2 weeks in
Okay.
the portal
Yeah.
and then 2 weeks to choose.
Okay.
So yeah, where was I?
Um
Oh yeah. So I was just praying, like praying.
I'm the worst ever. You're like, where was I going? Like,
Yeah,
I
just
don't
praying to
remember.
God to make it clear, like where I need to be. And I ended up talking to my teammate that played for the coaches when he was at Nevada. The
Yeah.
coaches there at Hawaii. I was like, hey, like, you think you can call them, like, reach out and just put in a word for me? He's like, yeah, I could, but like, I don't think they run the defense that you want to play in. I was like, all right, like, it's cool. Like, that was kind of like a sign, like, all right, like, okay, I'm not supposed to be there. Like, God, on to the next. I have coaches reaching out, so I wasn't really scared, but for the first like couple hours I was in the portal, it was a little scary.
Yeah.
But then once like the first coach reached out, it was a decent school. I was like, okay, like I'll be fine.
Yeah. What was like
And
I feel like what's scary about that moment that you're like in it and you don't get any interest.
I don't know. I think you just kind of get in it and you're expecting like coaches from everywhere start. Like I'm expecting Nick Saban to call me. Like why he ain't hit me up yet? No,
No,
not
yeah,
for real.
no, but I mean,
But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of nerve wracking. Like, what if nobody wants me, kind of thing.
yeah,
And so yeah, you just kind of those first few hours of not hearing anything, I was just kind of in my own mind, like, what if nobody wants me? But praying got me to calm down and be like, I'm gonna end up exactly where I need to be. And so yeah, I'm working out at a gym, and I get a phone call or I get a message on Twitter from a coach, Coach Reinbold. Shout out Coach Reinbold. And yeah, he was at the University of Hawaii, and he reached out to me just asking for my phone number, and I seen it and I immediately like called him. And he's like, "Hey, what's up, buddy? I watched your film, really like it. You look great." And I was like, "Yeah, like I was told like y'all run a 3-4 defense." He's like, "No, like we run a 4-man front." I was like, crazy, because he didn't my teammate didn't reach out to them for me.
yeah,
So for Hawaii to reach out to me while being all the way in North Carolina was kind of not normal.
yeah, yeah,
So it was just like, it was a clear sign from God. Like I took that and ran with it. It was like, God, you know what? I've talked about this. I've talked about like I want to go to Hawaii. Just those are the people I want to be, the kind of people I want to be around. And yeah, once the opportunity presented itself and they offered me, I was like, all right, that's where I'm going.
without question, you're
Yeah,
like,
for
I'm
sure.
going thousands and thousands of miles away
Yeah,
from home.
so I was talking to them for a few days, just the coaches at Hawaii, and I had like other schools talking to me, and I was entertaining them because it was like, I wasn't like just fully all in on Hawaii because they still didn't offer me yet,
Yeah,
so I didn't want to put all my marbles in one bag. Is that the right?
I never. I thought you were gonna say eggs in a basket.
Either way
Marbles
you
in a
put it.
bag. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I was still, entertaining other schools and coaches, and had other schools offering me. I even had a coach fly like in to come see me while I was at East Carolina, still like in my apartment. Like, he came to visit me, and we just chilled for hours. He was cool, great guy.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I didn't come here, I probably would have went there. I won't say the school, but yeah, I probably would have went there. Yeah. So
You came on a visit.
yeah, Hawaii, but I committed before the visit.
Oh, okay.
I ended up just committing because I was like, you know what? Like, once they offered me, it's like, all right, that's exactly where I want to be. I prayed on it. I'm like, if Hawaii's in the cards, God, like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Like, I really prayed about this, and then for them to reach out to me just made it that clear that it was like, this is God.
Yeah.
So yeah, once it came, committed, came on a visit.
Wait,
and
can you describe what you thought Hawaii was gonna be like before you got here?
what do you mean by that?
You get off the plane.
Oh yeah. So I'm expecting to pull up, like, on the plane. It's just super sunny, like clear skies. Like, we finna land like right next to the ocean. I'm not getting like pulling up to an airport. Like, it's just a runway. I'm expecting to get off, walk down the stairs onto the runway and like just have like, like hula dancers and just somebody like putting a lei on my neck, like aloha. And so I'm expecting that. We pull up to the airport, it's dark, and it's pouring down rain. We got picked up and went to the hotel, but I had some Zippies for the first time.
Word.
Zippies is fire.
That's how they got you, for real.
No, for real.
They said,
I remember calling my mom, like, yo, I had this food. I don't even know what it is. It was Korean fried chicken. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but it's so good. Yeah.
I can testify that to this day he still will
smash some Korean
fried chicken. Wow, I it's cool to hear you like say that, because every time you tell that story, I'm like, dang, God, like God put you here. Like, there's no, I don't know, just how you were praying about it, and then your teammate kind of had talked to you about it, but had never reached out to the coaches or anything, and then Hawaii's like, hey.
He did end up reaching out for me though. After they they contacted me first, and then he put in a good word just about me being a good dude. So shout out to Jack Powers, my dog.
We just did
that. Yeah, we did. We're usually on the same wavelength.
Hold
okay, up. I say something real quick.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. One time we were playing the game, just about when we were playing that game of like say random words until you like say the same word, like try and get on the same category. And so we just talk about how like we're on the same wavelength, and we're like, let's play this game because we like seen a video on TikTok or something, and so we're like, all right, 3, 2, 1, football. And yeah, it just blew my mind.
This was like very early into us like dating too. Yeah. So that moment just, and he called his mom like right after. He's like, you'll never guess what just happened.
I think I found the one.
Okay, before we get into a little bit more of your story and obviously how you got here and then how we met, because everybody wants to know how we met, I do want you to just touch on a little bit. You were at JUCO first. We kind of
JUCO product.
Yeah, and I didn't even know that about you. I had always thought that you were at East Carolina, and then obviously we got to talking and stuff, and you were like, yeah, I went to JUCO for 2 years, and it was a grind, how I interpreted it. But if you wanted to just kind of talk about getting out of high school and getting
so out of high school, I had terrible grades, couldn't go anywhere. So there's one JUCO in North Carolina, and a friend reached out to a friend for me and put in a word. Shout out to Q.
They better be watching this too. You got to send it.
I'm sure she is.
Okay.
So my mom's friend Q reached out to a friend for me and got me in contact with a Lewisburg coach, and they basically offered me pretty quick. It's a JUCO. They see my film. I mean, kind of high school film speaks for itself. Mine. So yeah, they offer me. I pull up. That was my only offer. Pull up the JUCO, thinking, all right, I'm gonna be one and done, like 1 year, and I'm out of here. Not even knowing like I have to graduate because my grades are so bad.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I take the visit, and it's like super small school, like tiny. Like you can walk from one side of campus to the other side of campus in 4 minutes, probably.
Yeah, that's
crazy. And so it's in the middle of nowhere too. The closest thing is Raleigh, that's like 30, 40 minutes away. And so yeah, it was in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, I pull up though. I'm like, this is gonna be a breeze. I'm gonna do my one semester of football, and I'm gonna be out of here. I'm going D1, and I got humbled pretty fast. I got humbled pretty fast. A few practices in, coach calls out a list of people, and he's like, "All right, y'all come with me." And he's just telling us like, "You're gonna redshirt your first year." I'm like, "Bruh, at a JUCO? Like, you think I'm gonna redshirt at a JUCO?
Oh yeah.
Do you know who I am?"
Oh my god. High school. Actually, I'm not even gonna say high school. Elijah is one of one of the most confident people I have ever met in my entire life. Like to the point where it's almost delusional, but you gotta respect it because it's like he really believed these things.
I mean, and it always comes to the light.
It does. It really. You've rubbed off on me a little bit in that way, but keep going. Yeah, they're like you're over there like red shirt at a
yeah. Like I remember just leaving there like ready to cry, and then I called my mom and I did cry. Just because it was like it felt like everything was over. Because like it seemed like getting registered at JUCO was the worst thing that could have happened to me. Like it seemed like that was the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Yeah. But far from the worst thing that's ever happened to me. But personally, it felt like the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
But my mom was kind of just like like that's not who you are. Like it's time to put in the work and earn what you think you should have. So I just kind of ran with that and just worked and got bigger, got faster, got stronger. I graduated high school. I weighed 195 pounds. And at the end of my first year at JUCO, I weighed 260 pounds.
Dang!
Yeah. Yeah. I put on 65 pounds in one school year. But it wasn't like, oh, you're fat. Like, it wasn't that at all. There was, like I said, it was in the middle of nowhere. There was only so many things to do. Went to workouts. I worked out. I ate. I played football. Like that was it. I went to school too, but
barely.
JUCO product, And so yeah, that was all there was to do there. So I wasn't getting in any trouble. Like just head down, working. I'd go home, to my dorm room, which was more like a prison cell, and just play video games in my free time. But that was it though. Like I just worked out.
Fortnite, day in, day out, grind.
Hours. But yeah, that was about it. That was about all I did. And so I redshirted in the middle of the season, like towards the end of the season. They tried to like pull me off of my red shirt, and they're like, you know what? Like you've been practicing great. We want you to play. I was like, all right, bet. Like I'd love to play. And so I'm about to play first game, like towards the middle end of the year, and it gets to the day of the game. And I think my mom was like, "Are you sure you want to like burn your red shirt? Because if I played in one game at JUCO, like that burns my red shirt."
Okay.
So I was like, I was just thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Nah. So I didn't show up for the game because you couldn't be on the sideline if you were redshirting. Like so, you had to be in the stands. So I never went to any games.
You just didn't go.
Yeah, I'm like, why am I going to show up to watch the game and just be, like, be mad that I'm not playing? Nah. So I remember being at like just in my dorm room playing Fortnite with my boys back home, and like coach calls me like, "Where you at?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, like sorry, I forgot to tell you, I'm not playing." And they're like, "What?"
Let's just make a note that Elijah has matured very much since he just told us coach yeah, I'm not coming.
Yeah. So then I practiced great the rest of that year, and it wasn't like it wasn't. There was no bad blood between me and the coaches. They loved me.
Yeah.
That was a great guy that just, always did the right things, was always in the right places. And so I just developed those like relationships with the coaches there that they just respected me and how I worked, even though I was redshirting at a JUCO, which was a miserable feeling. So really why I redshirted though, I was small. I didn't lift weights in high school. So that's why I went to college 195 pounds. Because in high school, I was a little too cocky. It was like, all right, nobody's messing with me. I lift no weights, and I'm gonna still go out on Friday nights and do what I do. Like nobody's stopping me. So yeah, that's how I got humbled in college. It was like, nah, this ain't the same game. It's a grown man's game now. And so yeah, so after that year ended, there was college coaches coming into the JUCO and talked to a few of them. And one that stood out though was East Carolina. It was like, pretty good school.
Mm-hmm.
And so they like invited. We were just texting back and forth, me and one of the coaches there, the D-line coach. He's like, we'd love to have you like come out to a camp. Like we just want to see you in person. So I was like, all right. I pull up, all 260 of me now, just swole, and I have a great camp.
Yeah.
Just ball out at the camp. First year playing DN too. I played linebacker like all growing up and through high school, and then first year at JUCO.
Okay.
Yeah, first and second year at JUCO was linebacker, and then eventually moved to like linebacker defensive end.
Okay.
And so yeah, I showed up to the camp, did good, and after the camp ended, the D-line coach called me up and was like, "Hey, like I'm not gonna say you have an offer yet, but you have an offer. We're gonna figure out all everything in a little bit. I'll get up with the head coach and let you know what's up." So I leave. I drove from Wilmington to Greenville, and I drove back.
Like, how far?
2 hours.
Okay, yeah.
And I drove back to Wilmington. I was just lit. Like I had an offer. Like he was like, "You had an offer. You have an offer, but you don't have an offer."
But you're
so
like,
all I heard was, "You have an offer." And now at this point, I'm like, I'm D1. Like, so I just remember the car ride back, just driving, just lit. And so yeah, it was probably the best car I ever had. I was alone. Yeah. So then I think the next day I got the call, and it was the head coach, and yeah, they offered me a full ride. And he explained what a stipend was.
You're like,
that was the first time I ever heard what a stipend check was.
Wow.
If you don't know what that is, just search it. But
you can just explain
a lot of
it really
okay,
quick.
I guess
yeah,
I can. It's just like an income for college athletes.
Yeah, you
if you're on full scholarship
you
at Division I FBS, I don't know how it works for other sports, but FBS D1 football players just get like set income every month.
So they pay your tuition. That's you pay your books, all that, your room and board, blah blah, and then you get this money on top of that money.
Yeah.
So
they explained it to me. I'm like, I'm finna be rich. Like I'm at JUCO right now, like living off of like, Mom, can I get $5? Like I want to go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger. Like I'm about to go out with my friends. Like so, yeah, just living off a few dollars from my mama to now I'm finna have my own money. So yeah, that summer was a great summer. Just back home with my friends. Went back to Lewisburg. Played that year. And the following semester is when I enrolled at East Carolina.
Great.
Yeah.
Amazing. JUCO product.
JUCO product.
Shout out Lewisburg.
Shout out Lewisburg.
The Berg, right?
Lewisburg made me.
So during that whole time, you weren't saved yet. Or like, I guess like following Christ. I guess that's what I mean by being saved.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I wasn't at all. First year I just kind of went through, just college kid. But emphasis on the kid, just young, young innocent kid, very innocent, just playing video games. That was it, and didn't really hang out with anybody like on the team or anything.
Yeah.
And then so my second year, so my sophomore year during season, I broke my hand like the second to last game, and it was the worst thing I've ever felt. Like it was bad. It hurt so bad. Went to the sideline, like jumping up and down, screaming. My boy Keon came up to me.
Shout out Keon.
Shout out my brother. I love you, bro. He might cut the video off after seeing that one. I don't even want to watch this no more. Nah, but for real, shout out Keon. He came up to me and was like, "It's all good." Like I'm crying because I know it's broken. He throws a towel over my head, like so nobody can see me crying. He's like, "You're gonna be good, bro." So I didn't end up going to the hospital that night, but the next day, Keon drove me to like an urgent care kind of thing, and that was like 30 minutes away. He brought me. They did X-rays, and they ended up telling me that I was gonna need surgery on my hand. And so at this point, it's like end of the season, so I'm about to go to East Carolina in like a month and a half, 2 months.
Dang.
So I'm like, bro, like, is this gonna affect me going? Like, are they gonna try and pull my scholarship? Like, I haven't signed yet. So it was kind of scary, just a scary feeling, like, what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they're like, we're pretty sure you're gonna need surgery. We'll have you come back tomorrow just to, check it out again. And so I go back to my dorm room, and this is the first time like I actually prayed. Like that I like just believed, like, all right, God, like I know you're gonna hear me. Like if you're really out there, you're gonna hear me. So yeah, I pray just for him to heal me. And I go back the next day, just with that in my mind the whole time, that like God's gonna heal me. He's gonna heal me. He's gonna heal me. And they're like, we don't know what changed overnight, but like this X-ray looks completely different. Like it'll heal on its own in like 2 weeks. It's like God did. And yeah, so that's when I was like, wow, like God is real.
That was like
my first like real encounter out like that I remember, like just the like his healing.
Yeah.
Was just because it like it stuck with me so much that like, all right, this dude heals. Crazy.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was just the first encounter. Kind of, forgot about him for a little bit. So I went a whole year at East Carolina through COVID. COVID happened, and I had my first season. And then at the end of that season, I worked like the hardest I've ever worked in my life, like putting in work, like take a lot of the fat off my body, get in the best shape of my life. Like coaches are coming up to me like, wow, you look great. Like this wow, like best shape we've seen you in since you've been here, since we've known you. Like you're in for a good year. And so the first day we're in pads, I tear the tendon in my pinky finger. So it felt like a jam finger initially. And later on that day, they revealed to me that I tore the tendon in my finger and it would require surgery and I'd miss the whole season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just bawling my eyes out, crying, just like instantly brought me to a dark place because I've never had a serious injury. Like my breaking this hand was the worst injury I've ever had. And so yeah, when I tore the tendon in this pinky finger, it was like, wow, I just worked all off season this hard to have everything taken away like this. Like, what do I do? I don't know. So I just get really depressed and in a dark place. And I felt like nobody cared about me. I would go to the facility and we would have like our team meeting, and I would like sneak out of the back door and I would just go home and just be in a dark, really dark headspace. And yeah, nobody would reach out. Like no coaches would ever like, are you okay? Like, how you feeling? Do you need anything? Nothing, ever.
Yeah.
It was just like, all right, Elijah's hurt right now. Like we can't use him. So I just felt like I didn't exist.
You're
disposable.
Almost.
I was just there, like, but I wasn't there, if it makes sense. So yeah, I reached a really dark place in my life. And so I was about to come off of injury, like for the last like 2 weeks, I think, of the season. And I'm thinking I'm about to play. And they're like, nah, I have a club on, big old club. Mm-hmm. I'm out there just lit, super small now, like, because I cut all that fat off my body before that. And then I couldn't do anything when I was injured. Mm-hmm. Like I couldn't run, I couldn't lift anything, couldn't do a single thing. So the first thing I did was practice.
Yeah.
And so I'm out on the field and they're like, nah, go to scout team. I'm like, bruh, ain't no way you're for real right now. And so, yeah, I went to scout team. It was miserable. Like, head coach cursed me out. Oh, cursed me out somewhere in between there, too. Like, called me into his office, threatened to take my scholarship for something I didn't end up doing. And, yeah, that drove me into the, like, they actually don't care me headspace even more. And so, yeah, cursed me out as soon as I came back for making a play in practice. Like, literally just, like, making a play and hitting somebody. A normal play, normal hit.
Playing football?
Literally. Cursed me out, threatened to take my scholarship again, told me I was too small and I would never play Division I football, especially for him. Mm. And so I was like, bet, I'm going to show you. Like, it just pissed me off so much. So, yeah, I was still in a dark headspace, though, really dark headspace. Went to a bowl game. I was just there, kind of still, just on practice, like on scout team. And it was the off season now, and so I'm like, all right, like it's time to do it again. I did it once, I can do it again. I can work really hard, and so I did. I got in some of the best shape of my life that next off season as well. Came out, and they had decisions to make. It was like we thought head coach, like I thought he would never play, and here he is showing up every day, ready to go, working hard, looks great, standing out. And so yeah, he apologized to me without apologizing, and was like, like I expect great things out of you this year. It's like, all right, I'm here. So had a decent next year. But before that had happened, I got a little off topic.
It's okay.
Just about, yeah. So I was lost, and then through that next off season, I'm trying to find myself at the very beginning of the off season, and I start questioning like I prayed this one time and it worked. Like, God, I need to get closer to you. I need your help. Like, I'm just in this really dark space and I don't know how to deal with this. Like, just show yourself to me. And I noticed God showing himself to me, but I still kind of was like, like I don't know if that's really him. Like it is. Like I know it is, but I'm just gonna look the other way, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Until it was just really revealed to me in a scary way, I would say. Like I felt like I had to die. Like internally I was dead to realize like God is real, and that I wanted to get to know him. And when I made that decision, it was one of the best decisions I could have ever made. I met Devon. Shout out Devon.
No, for real.
Like God saved me.
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong, God saved me, but Devon saved me.
Yeah.
And so I was just going to a small group, and the small group leader one night I was like, bro, I talk to you. Like I got a lot to say. I told him just about everything I was going through, and he was like, man, like, I can help you. Like if you're serious. I'm like, yes. And so I think like a week or two later, we go to a church conference, ENC conference. Shout out to ENC. A lot of shout outs in this.
No, I love it. They deserve.
And so I go to this church conference, and they're like, I'm at this conference. I feel like I'm in a bubble.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like I died, and I felt like I experienced something like almost like I was in hell. And I experienced it, I felt like, and now I go to this church conference and I feel like I'm in this bubble and I'm experiencing like a heaven-like feeling.
But like from the outside?
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost. And so it's like, this is crazy. Like all these people are so friendly, so open. They all want to get to like know me. It's kind of weird, but I kind of like it. And so by the end, I just get in a groove, and I'm like, this is where I belong.
Yeah.
Like, God is real. You've revealed yourself to me in many, many ways. Like, many ways. If you want to know more, you can hit me up.
We'll also get into that.
I'm full of stories of God revealing himself to me. It's crazy. I'm just hard-headed.
No, seriously.
And so, I ended up, I'm like, Devon, like, I've been baptized before when I was a baby, but I feel like this is something I need to do on my own. I want to get baptized. At this conference, he's like, bet, like, let's do it. And I got baptized.
Yay. Insert picture of Elijah and Devon.
Oof. I got chills. That was a great feeling.
Somewhere around here. But
it was a great feeling, I felt like that bubble that I experienced evil and good in was just left in the water. And I came out just changed. And just knowing that Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, and he's full of love and joy and just cares so much about me. And, I can't ever forget about him again. He just literally saved me. So God did.
Oh my gosh. And really quick, on the note of, where is it? On being born again, being a new creation. 2 Corinthians 5 verse 17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone, the new is here. All this from God who reconciled us to himself through Christ and gave us the ministry of reconciliation. That God was reconciling the word to himself in Christ, not counting people's sins against them, and he has committed to us the message of reconciliation.
Yeah. I think that was the hardest thing. Like, the hardest thing for me to accept was, who God truly is. It was like all the wrong that I've done in my life was like there's no way I can be forgiven of everything that I've done. Like, ain't nobody's forgiven me for anything that I've done, if they know everything. And so I feel like once that was, clear to me, that like it doesn't matter what you do or who you've been, like that when you come to me and you ask for forgiveness, you're forgiven and it's forgotten. It was like, oh, man, I'm here. I'm here for it.
You got me about to cry. Am I about to cry on this podcast? What? So I feel like I literally was actually gonna cry, and I think that, and I've heard that story before. It's not like that was the first time I've ever heard that.
You've heard the deeper version.
But I mean, yeah, but even that version was still, I think, hits where it's supposed to hit. So that kind of goes perfectly into the question that quite a few people, asked and want to know how we met. And I'm being forced to tell the story. I think it's so funny because every time somebody asks us, we like to see what version we like to tell. But I will give you guys the raw version because, I think you guys deserve that. So I had been here. You heard Elijah's story. I had been here a year before he got here. I transferred in 2022. And I think, I don't even know how to start from. Okay, we'll start from that spring. So Elijah gets here and we're in the weight room, me and my team. Shout out my team. And we're like, dang, this is Coach Timmy's first year. We're like, dang, there's a bunch of new football players here. We lift at the same time as them. So for those of you who don't know, we all lift in good old Clum Gym. And sorry.
Get you right, baby.
Thanks. And so the football players lift on like the main racks, and us volleyball players lift on the teeny tiny side racks with the janky weights. Anyway, different thing. And me, Amber, and Kennedy are just chilling, talking, and we're like, some of them are kind of cute looking at the football players, college stuff, whatever. And I happen to, one of them catches my eye, the little big dude with the curly hair and a little birthmark on his face. And I remember telling them, I'm like, he's fine. And they're like, you should hit him up. I'm like, nope. And so that's all that was for maybe like, I don't even know, a week to a month. There's a couple times that me and Elijah, I didn't know that was his name at the time, had a couple little run-ins, like interactions. And then I decided one day to look him up on Instagram, and I find him, I'm looking through his pictures, and I'm feeling a little bold. And so what do? What any smart girl does, and likes one of his photos and waits for him to slide into my DMs. And I thought it would work, and it did not. I followed him too. I followed him and then liked the picture. Didn't follow me back. So now my ego is a little wounded at that time, and I unfollow him a couple of days after that. And then we continue to kind of see each other around. And one day I'm in class, and shout out to my class. Now you got me doing it. Like, shout out to my classmates. And we're just like having a really in-depth conversation about how people like met their partners and met their significant others. And a lot of them had met some of their people like on dating apps. And I was like, do dating apps actually work like for people to find like, their true love? And I didn't believe it, but I was like, okay, if I wanted to download a dating app, what dating app would I download? In my class, it was like, you should try Bumble. This is the part that we don't like to tell people because God is really humbling us with this being the way that we met. So I download Bumble, and I get on the app and I swipe maybe 1-2 times, and he's like the third person to come up on the app. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, this guy. And I was kind of excited to see him on there, but I also was a little hurt that he didn't follow me back on Instagram. But I decided to put my pride aside, and I swiped on him, and I was like, okay, and I closed the app, and that was that. And then when I get I think maybe like a day later, I don't even know, I get a notification that we matched. Woo! And so I go into the app. I don't know what to say because Bumble the girls have to send a message first, and so I sent him a GIF.
Terrible.
I sent him, and actually, if we can find the GIF, I will show you guys what GIF it is. It was of Will Smith, and it was kind of like because I didn't know what to say because I knew that he knew who I was, and I knew that he knew that I knew who he was. So it was like really awkward. And so
It
I
was
just sent
awkward, very awkward.
and he was like, "LOL, what?" And then I basically was just like, "I've seen you before," and he's like, "Yeah, we lived together, obviously." And then we just exchanged numbers, and we get to texting, and this is the part we text for maybe a day, like maybe not even an entire day,
Not even a whole day.
and we just kept thinking like, wow, we have so much in common. And at the time, I wasn't really looking for anything. He wasn't really looking for anything. He claims that that's why he didn't follow me back on Instagram, is because he wasn't looking for anything.
She was too much my type.
Whatever that means. and so yeah, we were just like, he didn't really have anybody to hang out with because he had just moved out here. And I was like, you know what? You should hang out with the people that I hang out with. They're really cool. Talking about my roommates. Y'all know who you are at the time. And so he came over, and literally after that, we hung out every day since then.
Since every day.
Like every day that we could hang out since then, we've hung out. And then, yeah, we ended up dating, obviously.
Yep, here we are.
And here we are.
I'm on your podcast.
Yeah, wow.
And we're dating. You're so cute.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I think now that's perfect segue into the question. One of the questions is, so how did me and Elijah know God was involved in bringing us together? And I think that one of the things, like I said, I wasn't really looking for anything at all. I had just gotten out of like a weird emotional thing, and I was like at a place where I came back from home, and I got here, and I was like, I really just want to work on myself. And that's as cliche as that sounds, I very much was looking for answers. If you know me, you know I ask a lot of questions. You know that I've kind of been in a bunch of different places with my spirituality, and I was really looking for answers, and I hadn't necessarily crossed the threshold of looking into Christianity or into following Christ. But I was definitely looking for answers. And then I meet Elijah, and that first night that we're hanging out, I was really nervous because I was like, I hope he's not like every other guy. That's like the place where I was like, I don't want to have to deal with so what do you want? Like, I don't want to have to deal with that. And one of the first conversations that we got into, he shared his testimony with me. And in that moment, I had felt like God had literally sent him to me. And one of the biggest parts of his testimony that really convinced me, because like I said, I was looking for answers, and I'm not the type of person to be satisfied with just a surface level answer. And he told me, I've heard from God before, directly. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this information now that it's been told to me? I feel like I can't just ignore what he's saying and ignore that he was so on fire for God at that time. And he was so willing to just be vulnerable with me. And I had never met a man like that, like, quite simply put. And so
I'm different.
Oh my! I can't compliment you.
I'm that nigga.
Oh my God. I can't compliment you at all.
I'm sorry.
I can feel your head just like. But anyway, people, yeah. So the answer for me was, since he came into my life, my relationship with God has grown, and the joy and love in my life has just grown immensely as well.
Very much so.
So much. And it's so also cliche and corny to say, but the peace in my life has grown as well. Like, I don't feel peace like I feel peace when I get to be with you.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
No, you're not.
If
Don't lie to me right now.
I was a crier, I would have cried.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I don't know. How would you answer that question? How do you know like that God was involved in bringing us together?
Yeah. You know, like I said, I wasn't looking for a relationship, and I made that very clear at the beginning. It's like I don't want a relationship. I don't want nothing from you. I don't want sex, nothing.
Yeah.
I just want a friend. And so that's how it started. And we were just friends. And we were friends for a while. And it was just conversation, like never would cut on a TV, never would do anything except just talk. Like we would just talk all day long. And then it was like we would like leave each other, like I would go to my house and all I'm thinking about is everything we talked about. And it was always like somehow, some way, it just involved God. Like it always, yeah, we just kind of, it was always sprinkled into our conversations. And it just felt so right. And yeah, so just from the moment we met, like intentions were set from the start that I don't want you, I want God.
Oh my God.
Nah, but
No, it's true though.
it is.
It's true. It's
but
true.
yeah, and then it was like, you know what? God's gonna be first, but I want to make some room for you. You cool. I like
Yeah.
you. And then yeah, pretty early on too, I told you I loved you. Like we weren't even dating yet. I think it was like just one night we were just up having a conversation, and it was like, wow, like I've had this thought for a while in my head where it's just like, I love her. I love her. And yeah, I couldn't figure out why. Like I was having this thought, and then it was just like, she's perfect, like for me. She sits and listens to everything I have to say. She cares so much about just me. We just relate so much to a lot. She always has, something to pick me up, or yeah, just a little bit of everything, everything I needed in my life.
I'm
And
about to cry.
yeah, and then I also noticed that she's like furthering her relationship with God. And yeah, that was, I can't lie, that was kind of sexy. Like, like just watching it grow though, watching your relationship with God grow. It was like, yeah, we were just up late one night having a conversation, very deep conversation, and I was like, I've been thinking this for a while, and might sound kind of weird, but I love you.
And I thought, thank God he said it, because I had been thinking it way before that too. It was just weird because we would they get into conversation, and it would just feel like that's what was supposed to be said. Not supposed to be said, but we were just such in a space of like intimacy without the sex, or like without the whatever else, like the complicated parts. And like I said, I had never really felt something like that. So when I was thinking it in my head, I don't think I was just thinking it. I think I was feeling it.
Yeah.
Like it was literally coming from a place of like this. I love this person, and I love being around this person. So
Exactly.
yeah, and God definitely, man.
Yeah.
We, and every day I think we see like why God has put us together.
Yeah. After that conversation though, of I love you too. It was like she goes, so it gets kind of silent for a minute, and she's like, so like. It's almost like a second grade story. It's like, so we dating now? I was like, I mean, I guess I'm with it if you with it. And then I couldn't just, leave it like that. So I was like, I feel like I need to be a little formal. Like, will you be my girlfriend?
I'm like, yeah. Yes, I will.
And voila.
And here we are, and we're like, I don't know, just
even more in love.
I was gonna say that same amount or more. I don't really
Definitely
want to
more
hold your
for
hand right
me.
now because I
Okay,
feel
we
like
don't
that's
have to.
really corny. I
Okay,
don't
we
know.
don't have to. Yeah, you're right.
But okay, so there's also another question. We kind of already answered it, but it asks, how did you two meet, here in Hawaii or previously on the mainland, and when is the wedding? God bless you both. And the answer to that question is, the wedding is when God tells us the wedding is, because yeah, that's what
the source talks to me. He gonna let me know when it's time.
I will be very surprised, I think. But yeah, we're not really in any rush to get married. I think we're both very much just still building into our relationship with God,
Very much.
and I think, yeah, I'm confident that God will let us both know when that time is. So there's that.
How we meet?
Huh?
Oh wait, never mind. Sorry. None. Go ahead.
Did we not just talk
No,
about
we
how
did.
we
That's
met?
why I was like, oh wait, we already met.
Okay. So one of the questions asked, or I guess it is more of a statement, but sacrifices you make or made to become an athlete and not lose your identity in the world.
So sacrifices I've made to be an athlete, right?
Yep.
Free time. I still have quite a bit of free time, but it's like there's parts in time, like through the year where I have a lot of free time, and then there's parts of the year where I'm just super busy, and I just have to lock in, be asleep at an early time, maybe have to sacrifice a weekend of just letting my body rest and heal. So yeah, just spending a college experience, I would say. I don't get to experience that all the time as an athlete, which I'm cool with because I mean that's kind of all I know since a young age of sacrifice.
Yeah, sacrificing time.
Sacrifice has been my whole life, I guess.
That's
but
very true.
Are you really sacrificing what you don't know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of just I don't know, something I've done my whole life of I can't hang out tonight, I got a game tomorrow.
Yeah.
To now in college of like I can't do anything this weekend. Like my body needs to rest and heal so I can be ready to go for this rough week.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, time. I'd say free time.
And then not losing your identity in the world.
Not losing my identity in the world like through that. I mean, shoot, my identity ain't in sports. My identity is in God. John 17 verse 16 says, "They're not of this world, as I am not." And so, yeah, I mean, my identity isn't here.
Yeah.
My identity is in God. And yeah, so you ain't finna throw me off my game because my game bigger than your game. Your game might be football. But yeah, my purpose is just much bigger than that. So my sport just doesn't define me. And it has, took time to realize that and grow to that where I am now. A lot of time and a lot of growth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've reached a place in my life now where my sport doesn't define me at all by any means, and it's really just a game, a kid's game.
I think that's a very mature perspective. I think, you become a young college athlete, and that's who you feel like you are. You are like, yep, this is who I am. I'm Talia Edmonds, and I play volleyball in college, and that's my identity. But I don't know, God created us in His image, and He didn't say, "I created you as a volleyball player."
Yeah, that's why that little clip that was put out, where it's like, "I'm Elijah Robinson, wife of well player." I was like, bro, that don't even sound like me now. That sounds like me 3 years ago, 2 years ago. But yeah,
it's a little funny, haha clip. But okay, now we're gonna kind of just get through these because we have a good amount of them, but they're all really good questions, and we want to lend really good answers to these really good questions. So we're gonna do our best to do that, to answer all your questions, but to also give them the attention that they deserve. So the next one is, what are the ups and downs of being athletes and feeling like the Spirit isn't with you? I think just like we were talking about being a mature Christian, I guess, or mature follower of Christ, you always know that God is with you, and the Spirit literally dwells within you. That's kind of the not that even the trade off, the gift that you accept when you declare Christ as your Lord and Savior. So I can't even though say that in every moment, like say I make a bad play, that I'm thinking, oh well, the Holy Spirit dwells within me, and I'm gonna be fine. Like that is
it ain't always like that.
It's not always like that, but it very much is. How are you managing your bad days as not you being bad? Like you're not bad. You're just having it's a process, and there's going to be bad days within the process. And I think that being a mature Christian is knowing that, yeah, your sport doesn't define you, your performance doesn't define you, and that goes for anything that's even not sports. You can even be talking about like a business, or say you feel like God has put something on your heart, you do it, and it like just doesn't do well. I think that those are all things that you're still trusting God throughout that process and trusting that God will never forsake you. He promises that. So, next question. As student athletes, how do you balance out sports and make time for God more?
Shoot, that's hard.
We've
in the
been
sense
doing
of
better
we have
about
been
it
doing a
now.
lot better.
Yeah.
But waking up at 5 a.m. it's like I'm already in a bad mood, and so I pray immediately, like right when I wake up, put my feet on the ground, I'll pray alone, and that's my morning time. Because I ain't gonna lie, I'm not getting up immediately and hopping to work because I'm not gonna retain anything. Like I'm not even gonna know what I'm reading. My mind's just gonna be like going through the motion. So me putting my feet on the ground though immediately and praying is like like I can lock in there and get that done. There are times though where I'll start falling asleep. Like maybe I need to stand up and do this. Like it's 5 a.m. But no, just finding pockets of time.
For sure.
They come, as athletes, like our schedules change quite often. We're not on like a set like this is the schedule, this is how everything is every single day. So it's just about, finding pockets of time and being like, all right, God, this is your time. So I'm gonna put my phone on D&D, get in my word, pray, do what I need to do to get closer to you.
Ooh. That was good. I think my answer to that question is I agree with that, finding the pockets of time, but I've also kind of grown to just find God in very ordinary things. That can look like this is gonna sound really weird. I like washing the dishes. I think I haven't actually I don't cook very much. That's a whole different thing. But when I do wash the dishes, I find that time to just be like, okay, this is what I'm doing right now, kind of being where my feet are, being where my hands are, and just kind of meditating on God and spending that time with God. Or when you're driving, spending that time just thinking about uh, God and how you can build your relationship with Him there too. And I think when you start to find Him in those ordinary moments and those ordinary things, you'll find that they add up, and that you'll eventually have spent not only the prayer time with God, but now you're finding God in the little things, just looking out into the world, being like, oh, that reminds me of God, or that's God revealing Himself, or this is, He's in all things. He created all things and is in all things. So I think that finding Him in those little ordinary moments too.
One more thing.
Yeah, go for it.
This is probably the most important thing. I don't know how I forgot it. Putting yourself around the right people.
That's
so important.
Yeah.
Like your community is everything, I would say since I've like started surrounding myself just like strictly around the right people, like I've watched myself just like level up so much more by just not hanging out with the wrong people, or making time for the wrong people, and just filling all of that time with the right people.
Yeah.
It's made help me grow so much more.
That's
and
really
be able to just get in my word, even by just chilling with people.
Yeah.
Like you can just hang out with people. Like we can just be kicking back on the couch and we watching a podcast, maybe something playing on the TV, but somehow, some way, God's gonna come up in conversation, because that's just the type of people that you should surround yourself around, where God is even in the center of your friendships. So, yeah.
That's really good. That's perfect. I think because another one of the questions that we got too is just God-centered relationships. How do y'all keep God in the center of our relationship? The truth about knowing God in the center of our relationship, the adversities, the advantages, all that kind of stuff. What do you think?
I say, with God in the center of a relationship, like when problems arise, we just know like problems can be more easily resolved, I would say. There's been times in my past where I ain't gonna hear nothing that's said to me like I'm mad, and I'm mad for sometimes I don't even know why. But, putting God in the center of those relationships can, and knowing that like the person that you're dealing with like is also a strong follower of Christ, can just help you grow by them, just I don't want to say throwing the word at you, because that ain't the right thing to say. But, just being like, hey, like
Your reminder.
this is, yeah, And so just navigating problems through the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when you're surrounding yourself with people who are, like-minded in that sense, and they're living their lives trying to get closer to God as well, it helps you to just understand that they are also coming from a place of trying to be more like Christ, and that they know more of God. They know what God's character is like, and that you can trust that their intention is nothing but love.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. When you be feeling like sometimes if you're having a conversation with somebody and it feels like they're just trying to get a one up on you, or they're trying to attack you, or they're trying to prove you wrong. That can sometimes feel like an unproductive conversation. But when you're having a relationship with people who are also kind of keeping God at the center, it's almost like if God is up here and I'm moving this way and you're moving this way, as we're going in the same direction, as opposed to um, God's up here, I'm going this way, and the person is like, going that way, trying to.
Where'd you hear that at?
Nowhere.
Oh shoot, Logan was just talking about that like last week to me.
Truth is truth.
The triangle coming up, and
truth is
the
truth.
closer we get to God, like the
and
more
I think
connected
that
we
is
are,
like that.
closer.
That's one of the things that when I talk about being somebody who's always looking for answers, and I will like look and look and look until I feel like it's satisfying in my heart. I found so much truth in this word right here, and in just the word of and just like the holy living spirit of Christ, and in church, and in uh godly people. I find so much truth there, and once it's truth, it is always, always, always truth. Like everything is going to ultimately lead to that, and I will stand by that till the end. And so, if two people are moving closer to truth, then I think that just makes your relationship more productive and filled with more love and joy and those kinds of things. So, you have anything else on that one?
No, ma'am.
That's funny. Shout out Logan.
Shout out Logan.
We here. So okay, this is a great question. Whoever asked this, how do you feel about religion versus relationship with God?
Everything like relationship is. I feel like I was struggling with religion, as I was first trying to get to know God, and trying to figure things out. And once I started, working on my relationship with God, that's when things started becoming more clear, and just me spending time with God, and getting to learn Him.
Yeah.
It felt like He was getting to learn me too, which I know He already knows everything, but as I'm just voicing, myself, it's like, yeah, it feels good to, know that there's always somebody there to listen. Like, it might not feel like it at times, but there is.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when you can focus on that relationship and just growing that, what else you need,
For sure. When me and him talk about this all the time, relationship over religion, any day. We are above all else. Like, we are followers of Christ. Like, if you ask me, oh, like, what's your religion? What are your beliefs? I'm gonna say,
I'm a disciple.
I'm a disciple. I'm a follower of Christ. And yes, that by default kind of makes us Christians, I think. But sometimes the word Christian can be kind of loaded in society today. And I think that the most important part is I want people to know that, yeah, I have a personal relationship with God, and that you also have the opportunity to have your own personal relationship with God, and that our God is a relational God. And I think that that's something that we also talk about all the time, is our God just wants to have a relationship with you. And that's that's what people are ultimately seeking. If you really get down to the bottom of what are people really looking for when they are, trying to find an escape, trying to find a distraction, when they're staying in a bad relationship, when they're getting drunk, like what are people really looking for? And I think a lot of times is they just want to be loved unconditionally, for everything, for their faults, for all of the bad things they've done, for just who they are. And it's such a gift to know that there's someone out there who loves you no matter what.
And it's in you. That spirit is in you.
That's good. Yeah, and I think that that's something that at the end of the day, yeah, you can go to church and you can like do all these things for religion, but if say you're going to church every Sunday, but you're just going, and then during the week you don't do anything to build into your relationship with God, Like I would take a person who maybe doesn't go to church on Sunday and is in their word every day and is asking questions about God and is in small group and is in all these things, because then they're actively getting to know the God that loves them
For
so
that
so much.
judgmental, I'm in church doing the right thing, and you wrong. Yeah, don't be
Yeah.
that person.
Don't be that. Hashtag do not be that person. So yeah, and we can talk about relationship over religion all day, and that's one of our philosophies at this podcast, but also of our lives. So we can definitely talk more about that another time. But we are on to the next question. Um, let's see. How do you guys persevere in the dry seasons of your faith? Which is a great question. That's a very great, very straightforward question.
Say it one more time.
How do you persevere in the dry seasons of your faith?
Be consistent. It's hard. It's a lot easier said than done. But, have that foundation to always fall back on, always lean on. And, just putting, building my foundation on God in my prayer time, I would say. Just having that time put aside to pray is a strong foundation for me, because I feel like as I fall, I always know that I have times throughout my day where I'm going to pray. So as I have these times put aside to pray, I know that I can bring these problems. And yeah, it's kind of, I guess, just having that foundation, firm foundation.
That's a great point. I disagree with that. I don't know. I feel like to recognize that there's dry seasons is very that's a mature thing to do too. To know that you're not gonna always be as on fire for God as you once were, that you will be, but just really persevering and sticking it out, because our God is just so good. He's just so good, and He always provides. And so I think it's finding Him in those little things and just appreciating that everything you have is because of Him. Yeah, so I really like that answer of just consistency. And so those are like pretty much like the really hard hitting questions. We'll get into some of the ones that we read. To There's some of them I try to tell you guys these are anonymous, so I don't know if you did this on purpose, but to the people who said that they miss you, no, miss me. I don't even know if I could say I miss you back because I don't know who you are. I probably do miss you though, so I'm gonna just leave that.
She wanted to say she missed y'all, but I was like, no, because what if it's a creep? What if it's a weirdo saying I miss you? So swipe up.
If it was you,
Or don't. Just know I'm 6'4",
oh my
255,
god.
and this is mine.
Anyway, plans for tomorrow. I don't know who you are, so I'm not going to tell you my plans.
Yeah, weirdo. No, I'm just playing. That was mean.
What did you say?
I said weirdo.
Oh my gosh, that
I'm
was
sorry.
mean. He didn't mean that.
I didn't.
Any advice for a Christian couple doing long distance? So I kind of say this one for the end because I don't want to say that we have experience doing that necessarily. So I don't want to lead you astray or give you any advice that isn't coming from a place of we've been there. But I guess we can say, just like we've talked about, just finding ways to keep God at the center, and knowing that if you're both, just like our little triangle here, if you're both, no matter where you are, if you're both working here, that God transcends all distance and time and all of that. So
that was good.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yes, the Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Yeah. So I don't know if you want to have anything about that.
I mean, we've done,
Told you.
We've done 2 weeks apart. I felt like a piece of me was missing. She's away. She's in California playing volleyball, and I'm here in Hawaii playing football. Well, talk about that? Those periods of time where we're traveling.
Yeah, that does get a little bit rough, but I think we definitely had to figure out what works for us. Do not feel like you need to be doing what somebody else is doing because it's your relationship with your partner. Like it's no one else can tell you what's right, wrong, good, bad, what's going to work, what's not going to work. You just got to figure it out based on who you are.
I would say, so through those times, as it was early on, you would get like frustrated with me because I ain't texting
He's
you back.
The worst texter.
Okay, I might
be
the worst texter, but we on time differences, and I got stuff to do, stuff I gotta handle. Okay, maybe I could have texted her too. But, just
You could have.
you got better with that though.
I did. Because I also
Just-
learned that
yeah.
it's also time for me to spend with God
Yeah.
on my own. That's something else that I learned.
Yeah.
And if you're also in a season of singleness, I JJ, in the back.
JJ, listen up.
If you're in a season of singleness, that is a gift too. Like, it's not God's gifts aren't just for people who are in relationship and doing his work in a relationship, but if you're in a season of singleness, you have a gift because you have more time to be able to disciple, to be able to get into your words, to be able to prepare yourself for the person that God has for you, because I truly, truly believe that you have a person out there for you if that's what you feel has been put on your heart. Like, they're out there. Do not settle, I guess, or don't what's the word that I'm looking for, shift your boundaries and your expectations and your standards. Don't bring them down.
The standard is the standard.
The standard is the standard, and keep it there, and do not make anybody the exception to that. That's something that I will say. I take it back. I take it back.
Okay. She does let me be me though.
And that's something
But
too. Yeah.
from the beginning, I did.
Oh,
Spit a little game, a little smooth guy.
Okay, we're done with that.
Sorry.
now.
On to the next.
Okay, that's a lot of the. We cannot forget though. This is the last. Actually, I have two more questions. So we'll start with: are you a supporter, a skeptic, or a seeker of Christ?
I just want to, give it all to God, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, coming down and just, dying the death I should have died, living the life that I should have lived. But God did.
Okay, this times 3.
So yeah, supporter.
Hey, okay.
Supporter of my number one fan.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
We're going to close up with that.
Yeah.
So thank you. We're finally closing this out, but thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Spirit in Sport podcast. Do you have anything more that you would like to say? Not about the last.
Okay, it has to be about that. It's all love. Yes, it's all love. But this ain't gonna be an argument for if we have kids.
Okay,
this ain't an argument.
That's a good point.
Like, our kids ain't gonna have to argue this. It's just gonna be that clear cut.
Period. I can get with that.
Right.
Amen. And so yeah, I love you guys. If we didn't get to your question, I'm sorry. We will probably have to do a part 2 of this, but yeah, we will see you next week.
I won't. Bye.
Joy like a fountain I've got. Joy like a fountain I've got. Joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I got peace like a river. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. Choo.
Okay, now to the more serious question. Zora, this one's for you. So we were asked, pick 10 members from our family. If both of our families did a sports Olympics against each other, who would win and why? The sports in this said Olympics are basketball, soccer, track, flag football, pickleball, volleyball, and dodgeball. So the notes here are that our family members are in their prime, and it has to be 5 girls and 5 guys. JJ, can you please put just like a 2-minute timer on? Yeah.
2 minutes? That's it?
5-minute timer on.
We need to go by each sport individually.
Okay.
All right.
But I think, well, okay, yeah, fine.
All right, come on. Let's go.
All right, basketball's the first one.
Basketball's first.
Time out. I need to say who I'm putting on my team first.
All right, come on. All
I
right,
also
come on.
like y'all to know we've had a lengthy discussion over this because we're two very competitive people.
Come on,
All right.
get to it.
Okay, I'm taking my dad.
All right.
My brother.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin Valorian.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle Daniel, Valorian's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad cousin. And then on the girl side, I'm taking me, duh. My mom, duh. My auntie Val, my dad's sister, my auntie Omi, and my auntie Uta, all my mom's sisters. And that's what I'm taking.
So you done?
Yeah, that's what. And I'm also I want to say that I'm not. Those are just the 10 people we could think of, but a lot of my family could compete in this Olympics. Let's just say that.
So is it my turn now?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So me, Elijah Robinson, 6'4", 260. Okay. Quincy Robinson, 6'3", 245. Caden Robinson.
Yeah, what's Caden? Sorry, Caden.
Caden's 6'1", 185. That's still big.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, and we talking about prime. We're talking prime. Jermaine Robinson, my dad, 6'3". I don't even know what he was in his prime. I'd say he was probably like 225. But okay, and then I'll take Jordan. Shout out Jordan Barbarata. I'll take him as well. I think he was. I looked it up. 6 foot, like 185.
We're gonna go over my family's qualifications in just a minute.
Now on to the women. I won't go into the height and weight of women. First of all, I don't even know what they were in their primes. But
okay.
So my mama, dog.
Shout out your mom. I meant to say that earlier.
I love your mom.
She's great.
And she a dog.
You
don't even know.
Thank you for birthing this human.
My mom gonna carry a lot of this weight. My mom gonna strap you up.
All right.
Jackie. Shout out Jackie. Jordan's sister.
Okay.
Yep. And then I was just talking to my mom. Hannah. Shout out to Hannah. I gotta go with my dad's sister. I'm gonna go with Taika. And then 5th one, oh man, I forgot. Oh, Sam. Shout out to Sam. Yep, that's my.
Okay, my argument here is that all of my family members, especially the men that I named, D1 caliber. They played college sports. My mom she's not in the Hall of Fame once, she's in the Hall of Fame twice. And she also is an All-American. She's won 5 national championships. Then you have me, who came from my mom and my dad. My dad played basketball in college. He was also an Army Ranger, which is a very specialized group in the military that is very hard to get into. My cousin played D1 football. His dad played D1 football. Like, I'm just saying that the experience here is outweighing y'all experience.
Okay, so can I talk about our experience now? I ain't gonna say mine.
Y'all
already know me. Different in everything. No matter what I do.
Wait,
you heard at the beginning. Replay the beginning of her saying, I'm one of the best athletes she's ever met.
Can we also talk about, though, I beat you one-on-one.
All I did was shoot a basketball.
But I beat you one-on-one,
Yes or no? Realistically, no. Yes or no? Realistically, no.
Yes, I did.
Realistically, no.
It was 5-4.
With me just shooting threes.
But I won.
And me shooting threes off of 1 foot.
Oh,
come on.
Anyway, I just had to say that. Head
anyways,
to head,
me. I don't even got to speak on me. Quincy, he's a twin of me. Literally, like, we look exactly alike.
I've never heard you say that.
Just about exactly alike. I am the better of the brothers. Us 3, I am the most athletic for sure, 100%, hands down. And then Caden's just all right, I'm the most athletic, but Caden's just a little fast, a little linky, can move with just about anybody that's fast and small. Okay, and then my dad, the system, the prison system probably is holding could have been LeBron James. And my dad got caught up in this system. I've had random people come up to me and be like, hey, your dad
LeBron James.
No. Your dad was one of the best athletes I've ever seen in my life. Like, he was crazy.
No one's denying that.
Oh, I'm not saying that.
Okay,
but,
he
was probably a prison All-American, is what I'm saying. And then women, my mom was on the U.S. national soccer team. Played overseas. I think she said they won silver, maybe. And then my other girl cousins were dogs.
Okay, we just got to go into the sports here. We got to go into the sports here.
Let's go.
Pickleball, we got y'all.
Right.
Volleyball, we
First
got
off, ain't none of us heard of no pickleball.
My
I haven't heard of no pickleball.
It's borderline pickleball.
That's what they play here.
Shout out, mom.
That's
Not
what they play here.
No.
Okay, they do
Pickleball
play
is
that a lot
growing.
here, though. Okay, it could be growing, but
it is. Anyway, not my fault. Y'all
okay,
never picked up a
that's
paddle.
one. They got one. She started at the back of the list, though.
No, I'm just saying. I just saw. Yeah, pickleball, volleyball,
pickleball, volleyball. That's
football. We got y'all football too. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. We got y'all football too.
Come on now. We gonna be real.
Basketball.
Ain't nobody guarding me. I don't care who in her family is watching this. Ain't none of y'all guarding me.
I forgot to say, Cuz was getting recruited by Alabama in his
playing what position?
He some lineman.
Lineman. We talking about flag football. Cuz ain't doing nothing. Cuz getting his ankle snap. Show Cuz. Cuz getting them ankle snap.
Oh, you gonna show Cuz?
Yeah. Show Cuz. Cuz getting them ankle snap.
Okay, we get
your daddy too.
Oh my god! Wow, he's getting real bold on here. I need y'all to know this because my dad is watching. So, but it's okay. It's all right. He's gonna appreciate it.
he know it's in me. He knows the dogs in me. The competitors here.
Soccer, y'all might have soccer. I'm gonna get soccer.
Okay.
Track, we got track.
Y'all ain't winning track.
We're winning.
All right, how are we running track? Are we just running?
I don't know. We're doing all the events.
Short distance, all the events. We're winning.
No.
What events aren't we winning?
The short ones. The sprints,
how?
The sprints.
Hey, I might be big, but I am moving. Like moving.
I'm gonna have to get y'all.
Y'all
gonna have to foot race.
Moving.
Y'all gonna have to foot race.
Foot race who?
I don't know.
Your brother?
Yeah,
all right, we can do it. Alika, next time I see you, I'm finna dust your ass.
All right, basketball, soccer, dodgeball. Those are the ones that I let.
Basketball, we're winning.
No, you're not.
You already heard the height advantage.
No.
And we move well.
We're skilled.
We move well.
We're skilled.
We're guarding you.
We work as a team.
We're guarding you. And on the offensive side, just come lay up. Oh, rebound if we miss. Lay it up again. Oh, we missed again. Rebound. Lay it up. Oh, okay.
Who's on the court? Who do you think is on the court?
What you mean? Our average height is 6'3" is our average height.
That doesn't matter. That
Okay.
doesn't matter. Okay. Closing arguments. Winning. Closing arguments. Go.
Yeah, wait, what's the 20 seconds. Wait, we didn't even go through all the sports.
We can't. We don't have time.
Okay, we don't gotta go. Just know I'm on the team. We're winning. Point blank, period.
Experience, hard work, mental toughness, teamwork, winning every time. We got the experience up on y'all, and we gonna use it, and that's what I got.
At the wedding, we are running this. Yeah. Bring your shoes.
It's not.
Bring your cleats. Get your joints loose. All you old people on both sides of the family, get them joints loose. We are running this.
It's not a wedding. It's the Olympics.
Yes. No after party.
No after party.
No drinks. Shots of Gatorade.
Electrolytes.
No cake. We're not eating cake. Protein bars only. Get loose. And bring the pre-workout, the smelling salts. We going up. Robinsons, Barbaradas, we going up. We finna win it all. And see.
Yeah, we can cut it. I couldn't even say none of that. All right.